And that's how I look at it. What makes him get more respect than me? You my next door neighbor, you know what I tell him? You got yours from your family. I got mine from the ground up, from hard work and dedication.
Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest ever. He's a brilliant defensive fighter. His speed, his boxing savvy. He's just a savant. He's just something special, no question about it. But I gotta look at the Sugar Ray Leonards of the world.
Floyd's way is safe. Not in a punk, but it's like the safe way, like nothing ain't gonna go wrong. But that's how he fight. That's his characteristic.
Floyd Mayweather exploded after Stephen A. Smith downplayed his legacy and claimed that Terence Crawford could beat him. Stephen A. insisted Mayweather is not the greatest fighter ever, despite Floyd saying he is, and argued that Sugar Ray Leonard was far superior. He also said Floyd's best wins came at lightweight, and that he failed to dominate in higher divisions. Smith further dismissed the Canelo win as not very impressive, which sparked anger from Mayweather, who refuses to let such criticism go unanswered.
Not just about your skill set, it's who you do it against.
Your level of competition. Is it possible that he's so far beyond his level of competition that he made it look easy?
Well, I think he did as a lightweight. When he went up to the welterweight division, not so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
taking out Canelo the way he took out.
Well, he just gave him a boxing lesson, but Canelo was 22 years old. See, I remember
That's an excuse, though. I don't like this, like he's 22, he's too young.
I will tell you this. Well, you know, you do have to take that into consideration.
The guy had 100 fights.
Well, let me explain. You have to take that into consideration when boxing is the issue. Now, if he got knocked on his ass, that's different. But when he simply got schooled, when you swinging a punch and Floyd is tapping you on your shoulder saying, I'm behind you, that's a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's just a skill, like, you know,
we could credit Floyd with that.
Of course, I am crediting. I'm saying he's a brilliant boxer. You know, Floyd knew how to move before you even threw the damn punch. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a veteran to know how to overcome that. You can't put a novice into the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather. You understand? He's going to school you. What I'm saying to you is that if you want to make an argument on Floyd Money Mayweather's half, which I'm not summarily dismissing, I would tell you it's this. Floyd Money Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand. He constantly broke his...
Daoud Bey gave an in-depth breakdown comparing Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford after Crawford's performance against Canelo Alvarez. He admitted that as a fan, he leaned slightly toward Crawford in a fantasy matchup, but he emphasized that the comparison must be fair. While Crawford's win over Canelo was extraordinary, and many claimed it surpassed anything Floyd achieved, Bey reminded everyone that Mayweather had also dominated Canelo, and did so when Canelo was still developing. He said dismissing Floyd's greatness in favor of Crawford is unfair because both brought something unique to boxing. For Bey, the truth is in the middle. Crawford deserves full credit for beating Canelo so convincingly, but Mayweather's win over him was just as historic and should never be overlooked.
Who's about it a little bit better than Floyd in this sense. Floyd will like, when Floyd fought Canelo, he was standing right there. He wasn't running and all of that. He wasn't doing all of the stuff that they say, oh, runner, Mayweather's a runner. He wasn't doing that versus Canelo. He was right there. And I can't even really remember Canelo catching him like that, like with nothing. With Bud, I could remember Canelo catching Bud a couple times, but Bud like gave him the, all right, put your foot out, what's up? Boxing turn, boxing turn, boxing turn. Like, and was like really standing there and like giving it to him with another type of energy. It was, the energy is more so like, all right, what's up? Like, you can't beat me. Floyd energy be like, bop, bop, I'm better than you. You see what I'm saying? They don't really be respecting that all the time. They'll acknowledge it like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, he hard to catch. But they be like, nah, you didn't beat me up. Bud go about his fights in a way where as though the Mexican fan base gotta be like, I ain't gonna lie, Canelo, he hollered at you. Like, he came at you too. He didn't just be better than you. He was better, and then he was like, all right, I'm gonna come at you. And I think they really respect that. Shit, I respect it. I don't think it's not, I think the less you get hit, the better. I'm always gonna take it that way. So, you know what I'm saying? As a boxing fan, the kind of boxing fan that I am, I would have leaned towards Floyd's performance, but Bud's performance was like, if I'm a casual fan, I'd rather watch the...
Trainer Buzianis spoke passionately about Terence Crawford's place in boxing. He responded to critics questioning Crawford's accomplishments, saying Crawford has repeatedly proven he is one of the greatest of his era. Ennis highlighted Crawford's willingness to take risks regardless of the opponent, noting that Crawford never backed away from dangerous challenges. In his view, Crawford thrives in high-risk situations, which separates him from most fighters today. By constantly testing himself against elite opponents, Crawford earned his position among boxing's top tier. Ennis insisted people should stop diminishing Crawford's achievements and instead recognize that few fighters have ever been as versatile, fearless, and consistently successful as him.
He could have got the stoppage. He'll tell you that if he had to sit down a little bit more. But I tell you, Terence can fight and he can box. And he can fight. He'll fight this side. He take chances, man. You know what I mean? And that's how you be great, man. And he one of the greatest out there now. I think he's great. I think he's the best out there right now in that division. You know what I mean?
What's left?
For Terence?
Yeah.
If I was Terence, I would retire. That's what I would do. He did everything, man. He done everything, man. You know what I mean? Look how many titles he don't want. All that stuff, you know what I mean? I think I'll go off one in the sunset, man. You know what I mean? He don't need no more money. You know what I mean?
Crawford's longtime trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, believes his fighter still has major moments ahead. According to Bomac, Crawford can compete in 2 or 3 more fights before even thinking about retirement. He discussed the possibility of Crawford moving up to 160 pounds, saying such a jump wouldn't be just about winning titles, but about strengthening a legacy already worthy of the Hall of Fame. Bomac made it clear that Crawford has already secured his place in history by becoming undisputed across multiple divisions. Yet the idea of adding more championships in higher weight classes excites both the team and fans. He stressed that Crawford isn't chasing validation anymore. He's chasing greatness, taking the kinds of risks only legendary fighters attempt.
The second time. They can't take it away from him either.
Does this one mean more to you than the other ones?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It gives us the opportunity as a team to go into the Hall of Fame. Instead of a fighter going in there, instead of a coach going in there, it gives us a better chance of going there as a team.
Well, congrats on that. I know that means a lot to you and the team.
Definitely that.
You know, I asked Bud this after the fight 2 weeks ago. Would he consider this his signature win? He said, yeah, one of them. Do you think that was his signature win of his career?
Well, the last fight?
Yeah, the Canelo one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was the underdog. Everybody thought that, you know, he was going to get beat.
What's up?
He was going to get beat. Surprised me.
So what's next for Bud? What do you want to see him do?
I just want to see him, you know, spend time with his family because, you know, training for a fight, you be gone a long time. You're going away from your family. And it could take a toll on you after a while. So,
as his trainer, do you feel like you should just sail off into the sunset after this monumental
well,
win?
you know what? They made it look so easy. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit, got 2-3 more in him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Training camp will try harder. You know what I'm saying?
Timothy Bradley offered heartfelt thoughts on Terence Crawford's impact. He explained that young fighters often battle self-doubt, especially when critics downplay their progress. Crawford, however, showed the world what perseverance and determination can accomplish. Despite the skepticism that surrounded him early on, Crawford consistently proved doubters wrong with his performances. Bradley emphasized that Crawford became an inspiration for the next generation by achieving what many believed impossible, becoming a multi-time undisputed champion across different weight classes. To Bradley, Crawford represents more than victories. He symbolizes belief, courage, and the power of hard work. Young fighters now look to Crawford not just as a champion, but as a role model who embodies never giving up.
You have become. You're a true inspiration to the youth, man. Anybody that's troubled, any troubled kid out there, man, they can look at you and say, hey, man, I got a fighting chance to get myself out the situation. All I got to do is make that choice. That's what you did, Crawford. You made that choice, man. You made that choice to change, bro. You know, you saw going down, man, years ago, man, in 2008, man, when that bullet came through that window, you knew you had to do something or you'll end up 6 feet under, bro. You know, so that courage that you had, man, and that will that you had and that mindset of change, man, and the gym grooming you and turning you into a man, because that's what boxing does. See, people don't understand, man, that boxing is more than just throwing punches. Boxing teaches you discipline. It teaches you love for people, love for others, man. Working together. You're there constantly every single day, man. Spending time there perfecting a craft, man. Perfecting yourself, understanding yourself, learning more about yourself each and every single day. You push it inside the gym. Boxing is more than just throwing punches, man.
Floyd Mayweather's journey went far beyond boxing itself. As Oladipo described, Floyd created two personas, Pretty Boy Floyd and Money Mayweather, both capturing the public's imagination. Early in his career, Pretty Boy Floyd was a fearless puncher who delivered highlight reel knockouts. Later, Money Mayweather emerged as the master businessman who perfected defensive boxing and turned every fight into a global spectacle. His pay-per-view dominance and marketing ability made him a phenomenon. Oladipo credited Floyd's genius both inside and outside the ring, saying he built a business model that modern fighters try to copy. By mixing technical brilliance with entertainment, Floyd became more than an athlete. He became a cultural icon and the architect of boxing's modern economic era.
I'm sorry. He's a genius. He is a fucking... when I get bored with today's crop of boxers, and Terence, to be fair, has kind of helped me out of my boredom, but sometimes I just go on YouTube and I watch the 24/7s and then I watch the fight. I'm not joking, I watch the whole fucking episodes and then I watch the fight, and my guy is a genius. A genius. There will always be an argument, oh, you should have fought that person then, and I get it. I get it, right? It's kind of the argument you can't throw at Muhammad Ali, right? You could throw that argument at Floyd. But dude, unbeaten is unbeaten. Unbeaten is unbeaten. Multi-weight world champion is multi-weight world champion. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen a boxer so like, I'm going to work you out, and then when I work you out, you're done. Shall I repeat that? I'm going to work you out, and when I work you out, you're done. And Floyd had this thing where first 2 rounds, you think, oh shit, man, this guy's in this fight, and then he works you out. And then he works you out. Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd was better than Money, but Money Floyd had obviously the fights, right?
Despite Crawford's stunning victory over Canelo, debates have erupted about his future. Some insiders, including members of his team, suggested he should consider retiring now to protect his legacy. Supporters say Crawford has already proven everything and has nothing left to accomplish. However, others continue to downplay his win and claim he should step aside before his reputation declines. This has created tension, as many believe Crawford still has much more to offer. His recent performances show no signs of slowing down, and fans want to see him in more major fights. While retirement is an option, Crawford's legacy as one of the greatest is already secure, and whether he continues or not, his accomplishments remain untouchable.
The fact that Terence Crawford did what he did against Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford made himself the face of boxing, and he did it. He made it look easy. He made the Errol Spence fight look easy. That was supposed to be the toughest test of his career. I thought it was. The whole world thought it was. It was the easiest fight he had at welterweight. I thought, but I've been saying for years that he's gonna easily beat Canelo Alvarez, and he did. But many people expected Canelo to knock him out. That wasn't the case. With that said, now people are trying to throw. He's 38. Tomorrow, Terence Crawford will be 38 years old. He's a 5-division champion. If he wants to stick around, like Terence Crawford stated, okay, Terence Crawford stated, if I do stick around, I'm not dropping down no further than 160 pounds. If he stays in boxing, I say he have 2 more fights. Fight Janibek, who's the unified champion. Hopefully call Sadamas and Lara fight and unify the belts. 2 fights at 160, pad the stats, become a 6-division champion and a 4-division undisputed champion. Cool. Other than that, Terence Crawford needs to retire.
Trainer Robert Garcia joined the discussion on Mayweather versus Crawford. He reminded fans that while Mayweather's record is unmatched, Floyd never became an undisputed champion, something both Crawford and Pacquiao did achieve. Garcia acknowledged that Crawford's resume in this area is historically significant. However, he still favored Mayweather in a head-to-head comparison. He explained that Floyd's defense, timing, and ring IQ would challenge even a fighter as skilled as Crawford. For Garcia, Mayweather's ability to neutralize his opponents put him on another level, making him a nightmare matchup. While he respects Crawford's accomplishments, Garcia believes Mayweather's mastery of fundamentals and strategy places him above almost everyone, including today's champions.
He doesn't need it anymore.
With his accomplishments, the only man to ever do 3 weight divisions, undisputed. Is he now a part of the greatest of all time conversation? And not of this era, but of all time.
Definitely is the greatest, one of the greatest of all times. You know, there's still greats out there. There's still, you know, his era or last era, you know, with the Mayweathers, with the Pacquiaos. I think he's, you know, already accomplished more than Pacquiao was 8 division, so we have to, we could argue there because Pacquiao was, 8 division is almost impossible, and he did it. Mayweather never became undisputed. He's a 5 division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more.
Greg Hackett added another perspective by comparing Mayweather's performance against Canelo with Crawford's. He argued that when Floyd fought Canelo, he was already a complete fighter with unmatched discipline and poise. Hackett said Crawford's style is more aggressive and adaptable, but it doesn't match the flawless execution Floyd maintained for 12 rounds. He emphasized that Mayweather's defensive perfection and ring control remain unmatched in boxing history. While he respects Crawford's achievements, Hackett believes Floyd's level of dominance was simply different. Crawford's explosiveness is impressive, but Floyd's calculated brilliance against Canelo was closer to perfection. Stephen A. Smith also applauded Crawford's win, calling it one of the most entertaining performances in recent years. He pointed out that Crawford was the smaller man moving up against a bigger, stronger opponent, yet made the fight look one-sided. Smith praised Crawford for giving fans both skill and entertainment, saying boxing needs fighters like him who can deliver excitement and mastery at the same time.
But the biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was just severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all, okay?
Veteran journalist Dan Rafael offered a long-term view of Crawford's career. He argued that Crawford no longer needs to fight to prove anything about his place in boxing history. His record already speaks for itself. Undisputed in multiple divisions, wins against elite fighters, and a reputation for dominance. Rafael said fighters who reach this level should shift their focus from proving themselves to protecting what they've built. Continuing to chase unnecessary fights could risk damaging a legacy already cemented. Instead, he believes Crawford should enjoy the recognition of being one of the sport's greatest achievers. His historic accomplishments guarantee that he will be remembered as a legend whether he fights again or chooses to retire now.
But he stood in the pocket, like he's not moving anywhere from him. He's using his head moving, he's not being stupid, but he's not necessarily moving away from Canelo. Like you said, he's walking the, quote unquote, bigger man down and forcing the action rather than going off, reacting to Canelo's attacks. So I think it was such an impressive display, but it sort of begs the question now, when you've a 3-time undisputed champion, I know money's important, financials, we always talk about that, his legacy is intact regardless. We'll start with Terence. What does a Terence Crawford do now? Like what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance if he goes up again? And do you say, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made 2 things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down in weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fans. So I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy's really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he can either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.